and good evening, and welcome to another VCO Esports studio with myself, Ben Constanduros. Happy Christmas. We're allowed to say that, aren't we? It's December. This is the culmination of the year, I suppose, and so many of the big events now finding their champions and providing a little bit of chill time for all of you guys out there in the sim racing world. We have done the same here at VCO. As you know, we have been supporting Ivra across the whole year, and with very different championships, being able to broadcast some very unique racing, including my favourite, the community's favourite, the Jetta Cup. Unfortunately, the Jetta Cup is no longer. It's finished. It's over for the year, and we have found our champion. And that is our guest this evening for the VCO Esports studio. Perhaps not necessarily the best known sim racer in the world, or a man that has done brought thousands of euros into sim racing, but a man who is winning in a community championship, Jake Cranstone. Thank you very much for joining us, Jake. Where are you this evening?
I'm in my apartment at home in Fleet in the United Kingdom. Yeah, it's great to be here. Thank you for having me.
Nice trophy alongside you there. You've been winning races before?
This was the season one trophy. You see, I'm a double Jetta champion now, so I'm still waiting for the second trophy because the season only finished last week. But yeah, I've got the first place one sat here. It was next to me the whole time during the last season. So.
And obviously, this is the first season not supported by VCO. The second season very much supported and broadcast by VCO. How have you found the championship evolving over the last couple of years?
It was fantastic this last season with VCO. The first thing I noticed the difference was the cars just look so much nicer with all the sponsors. We had the VCO and the GT Omega. All of us had the same liveries with the sponsors in the same places. It just looked like a proper series, and having the broadcasts on your channel with the added viewership, it was great for the drivers to see they're getting some support from people all over the world, and it was just fantastic.
And it's interesting to hear a British voice actually, because Ivra for me, a very American, Canadian born, over the pond, and so many races from over there. How have you found? How did you find Ivra in the first place, and how have you found integrating into it?
Well, the Jetta Cup is virtually a British sort of thing. It's run by the Racing Line on YouTube. He's British like myself, and Stephen King as well helps him out in Pulse Esports, and they're all British. So a lot of British drivers are in the Jetta Cup. There's probably about 10 of us or so, and we have got a grid of international standard, but there's a lot of British there, and it is great to see, and it's great to race against them as well.
Because the British love a bit of front wheel drive, right? And in terms of touring car racing, the best championship in the world is probably from the British Championship in terms of front wheel drive, anyway, I suppose. Why did you choose the Jetta Cup?
Well, I didn't really choose the Jetta Cup. I was just messing around in sim labs on iRacing, and the Jetta became a free car, so I was like, oh, I've got to try that out. It's free. So I gave it a go, and I was just immediately pretty fast and winning races in the sim labs. And then Jack and Steven messaged me. They said, "Hey, we're setting up a championship for the Jetta. Do you want to join?" And obviously, I said yes, and this is where it's led me now.
And were you fast in a way that you were not fast in other iRacing cars?
I'd say, I mean, I'm not the fastest sim racer in the world. I'm just an armchair desk racer here. I just do it for the fun. The Jetta to me has been the easiest car. It's just felt natural. Like I don't have to try to be fast. I just am, and I enjoy that. Whereas other cars, I really have to put in the effort, the hours, the setup to try and get the pace out of the car. Whereas the Jetta's just it clicks with me, and I don't know why, but it does.
when I came into the chat this evening, I heard you talking about your setup. Obviously, not the usual thing that we see on the VCO Esports studio with triple screens and big aluminium frames. It sounds as though your sim racing setup is quite rudimentary.
Yeah, well, I'm sure a lot of people watching can relate at least with what I've got set up here. I mean, I've got a 6-year-old Thrustmaster T300. The only thing I've upgraded is the pedals. I got some GT style pedals, just and the bass just clamped to my desk here with a single monitor. That's all I've got, and it's good enough for me. And I still have a great time with it.
And do you think that that setup, therefore, and the combination of that and the Jetta gives you a feedback and understanding of what the car is doing?
Well, yeah, because the Jetta's not the best car in the world, and I guess if I don't have the best setup, it kind of balances itself out. I don't know, but yeah, I mean the Jetta is it's not like you need a direct drive wheel to feel all the forces going through the car. It's just a very basic car, and a basic setup is good enough to do well in it.
As you say, that's what makes it accessible. Um, in terms of your commitment to this, to iRacing in general, how does your day work out? Because obviously, I speak to on this show a lot of professional sim racing drivers who spend 8 hours a day sim racing to get to their peak performance. You're a champion on iRacing, thanks to Jetta Cup. But what's kind of your rhythm?
Yeah, I definitely don't spend 8 hours on it. I work from 8 till 5 p.m. at night, so all I have is the evenings really, and the weekends to hop on this. And recently, I've only been doing the Jetta Cup and focusing on that. I haven't touched anything else. So yeah, I mean, iRacing for me is just the Jetta at the moment. I haven't had time to do anything else.
And do you do other platforms? Is iRacing your only platform?
Um, Yeah, at the moment, iRacing is what I stick to. A few years ago, I was into the rally games. I was doing some stuff on my YouTube channel, just some trying to get some world records and beat Jimmy Broadbent on some of his runs he was doing on his channel. And I guess I was quite quick at that, and I enjoyed that. But there's only so many times you can run the same stages, you know.
So you like a bit of off road as well as on road. Is there a market? Is there an opening in the world of sim racing for something more sim like in off road racing?
Yeah, well, they do have an esports series for the WRC, but I mean the official WRC game is not something that sim racers go to because it's just not up to scratch really. Dirt Rally is a lot closer, but the platform isn't really there. I guess as you said, there isn't really a championship out there for it.
What about iRacing? What about the dirt stuff on iRacing? Have you dipped your hand into the RX?
Yeah, I have tried. It's very different to the Dirt Rally. The feel of the car is really different on iRacing. I haven't quite got my head around it. I do the rallycross whenever I can. I'm not very quick, so I don't do it as much, but I do enjoy it still.
So do you find yourself gravitating to things that you're fast at rather than things that perhaps are interesting, fascinating? You say that you jumped into the Jetta, you found yourself fast. So is that kind of your rhythm in iRacing? Trying a new track, trying a new car, and then going, I'm good, I'll carry on, rather than moving around and trying different things.
Oh, well, I guess everyone's the same. If you find something you're good at, you stick to it and you enjoy it because you're good. But yeah, I do all other stuff. It's not that I just stick to the Jetta like I was saying. I've got my licenses on all of the levels. I've been doing some dirt oval stuff as well for some fun. Just the official
Nice.
iRacing sessions, not any leagues or anything like that. Maybe that's something I could do in the future. But yeah, I do all the ovals. I do, yeah, road, dirt oval. I I know how to race it. I've got the licenses to do it. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I haven't got much time, but I probably should branch out to something else then.
But ultimately, this is a fun thing for you, right? So you want to do the stuff that's fun. Does fighting in a championship, fighting in something like the Jetta Cup with its increased visibility, suddenly become more serious than just the fun at the end of the day?
Yeah, you've hit that on the nail on the head there. It's definitely just fun for me, and the Jetta is a very fun car to drive and race. The racing is very, very close, hence why we all enjoy it so much. Racing in the Jetta Cup, it's great racing. It's very touring car esque, as you said earlier. It's a bit like karting, really, where we're all bump drafting each other down the straights, and it's the racing is very close, and that's what keeps bringing me back to it.
So is there a progression? Can you kind of see yourself moving from a Jetta to, let's say, the touring cars? It sounds as though iRacing are bringing in a couple more TCR cars into the platform over the next couple of weeks. So TCR looks like it might grow on iRacing. Would that interest you because it's the same kind of driving style and feel?
Oh yeah, definitely. I've already got my eye on that Honda Civic touring car. It looks very nice. I'm definitely going to get that and give it a go. And we'll see what it's like in the official sessions, and then hopefully there'll be some sort of league going around for the touring cars, and I'll definitely give that a go.
But does the Audi drive like the Jetta for you?
No, the Audi is very, very different to the Jetta. I mean, they're both good in their separate ways. It's weird because they're front wheel drive, both of them. But they drive very, very differently, and I think it's probably to do with the fact that Audi's pretty modern compared to the Jetta. I think the Jetta we've got on here is like a 2008 car, really. So it's quite old, and so it drives like an old beast, really.
I'm not even sure whether the VW Jetta was even sold in Europe. I'm pretty sure it's an American model.
Yeah.
In what way do you feel as though the car? How do you get the best out of a Jetta? Tell the world who are watching this evening.
Oh, you're making me give away my secrets. um, I don't know. I just drive it. It's difficult to explain. I don't have a knack. I mean, you've got to. The only thing I can really say is all about momentum through the corners. You've got to carry the speed, keep your speed up, and get the acceleration out of the corners. You don't want to understeer, and it's very easy to understeer in a front wheel drive car, as I'm sure you know. But yeah, it's momentum is key in the Jetta, definitely.
And then with a steering setup like you, this is one thing that I've always struggled with in sim racing. Rear wheel drive cars, you don't get the sensation of the car moving around with oversteer because your seat isn't moving because you're in a fixed position. But with a front wheel drive car, you can start to feel that traction brake, and you start to know where the understeer is coming in. And obviously, the front wheel's doing everything in a touring car. Do you think that helps front wheel drive in the sim racing world become more relatable, become closer to the real world?
Yeah, I'm sure it does in a way. The Jetta is very bouncy. I don't know if you've seen any of the races or any footage of the Jetta on iRacing, but it loves to bounce through the corners. It looks quite funny, and you can definitely feel that through the wheel. And you can feel when it's losing grip at the front. It's not like a normal front wheel drive car, the Jetta. If you're understeering, you just turn the wheel more and it gets around the corner. Whereas a normal car, if you turn the wheel more, it would just go straight off the track. So it's different in that way and a little bit odd, but we like it.
Does that? I mean, that for me sounds like iRacing need to have a look at the model. To be honest, that doesn't really relate unless you're in. It does work if you're in a go kart because the caster on the front of a go kart would actually eventually lift the rear wheels off the ground. But I don't think that's probably happening in a Jetta.
Well, no, I mean, I said that it's sort of like go-kart, so I don't know if they've modeled it that way, but a few of us have got onto iRacing to try and fix the Jetta actually, because the meatballs, I'm sure you've seen in other cars, quite forgiving, but the meatballs in the Jetta, just a little tiny touch on the quarter panel or a wheel, and you've got a meatball, and there's no damage to the car at all, and it still drives fine, and it's just silly, and it's quite annoying for the championship, really. So we're trying to get iRacing's attention, and especially with VCO and this championship, I'm hoping we're getting it, and they can fix the model of the car.
Now, as you guys well know, the VCO Simi Awards coming up, and the Jetta, one of the cars of the car of the year, would you believe, versus the likes of the Ferraris and the Porsches of iRacing and ACC. But the Jetta is there. Unfortunately, it does sound as though the Jetta perhaps isn't the best modelled machine. Jake, have you got any kind of real world experience of motorsport at all? Just, a big, massive fan of touring cars, presumably?
I'm a big massive fan of all kinds of motorsport, really. I myself, I used to kart when I was younger, so from about 12 years old till 16, I raced go-karts in my local tracks here in the south of England. I was a champion in
But Bayford, Buckmore,
yes, yeah, that's it. You got them. I was
Camberley? Is Camberley still a place?
yeah, I was a champion at Camberley actually in 2013. I was the
Ah,
cadet champion.
and that is actually like a rallycross track. To be honest, it's not really a kart track
Yeah,
at all.
no,
It was so
it's
bumpy
very
back in
short.
my day.
Yeah, I think that's one of my proudest moments actually is the Camberley Kart Club when I won it. Um, my trophy at the awards evening was presented to me by John Surtees, and that meant a lot to me,
Wow,
and that was quite a
wow.
big thing. And obviously, bless him, he's not around with us anymore, so I'll cherish that forever.
Were you sim racing at that point, or has the sim racing come to replace the karting?
Sim racing's definitely replaced the karting. Back then, what was that like 2013? I was playing F1 2012 with my gamepad on my Xbox 360 back then probably. So I wasn't taking it seriously at all, and yeah, the funds run out for the karting, so I decided to take up sim racing on iRacing, and yeah, iRacing was the fix that I needed to keep it going.
And do you feel as though it has totally replaced the sensations that you had when you were karting?
Um, yeah, in a way, this is how I get my fix for racing now. Whereas before, obviously, I'd be doing it in real life. Um, I still go out in karts every now and then. I used to work at an indoor kart track, funnily enough, so I got to go out in that whenever I wanted. So I still got my fix a little
Nice.
bit, but obviously nothing compares to the real world. But this is as good as it gets, and us sim racers have it pretty good nowadays, I think.
So, do you see that there's a possibility of having a career in sim racing and motorsport because of the experiences that you have, even not necessarily at the top end, the most famous races, but still winning championships and and experiencing what it's like to be in competition?
Yeah, possibly. I mean, anything can happen, as you can see with the Jetta Cup. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the future holds, but we'll see. And I guess we'll see what happens with the touring car thing as well.
I guess that for me, the one disappointing thing, the virtual versus the real, is when you won your cadet championship, as you say, you received the trophy from John Surtees, and you have a bit of celebration, a bit of community around you. When you win a sim race, do you feel that same community spirit? So, obviously, you're not receiving your trophy from John Surtees, you're possibly receiving it from DHL, but is that one thing that's missing?
Um, in a way, I mean, the community spirit we've got with the Jetta guys is nothing I've ever experienced in sim racing. I mean, we've got such a tight knit community, and we're all friends, I hope, with each other. And yeah, it's a good fun. We have a good laugh in the Discord chats before and after the races, analyzing the incidents and joking with each other about why someone crashed in the pit lane. Um, yeah, that sort of thing. It's still we have good banter with each other. But yeah, getting the trophy from DHL isn't quite the same as an F1 world champion, say.
But VCO have built some beautiful trophies for everybody and all the different championships that we promote to be sent around the world. So that's in itself, I have to say, even though I've got my VCO t-shirt on, that's a huge commitment over other championships and other existence. So it's nice to have a trophy on the wall, right?
Oh yeah, definitely. And what I have to say, what VCO have done with everything coming up to this, and the the social media posts and the engagement they've had with the fans, and doing this as well, it's really helping the series, and it's making it feel a lot more real with all the interviews. I feel like I'm in like the media pen or something.
Oh, that's nice. That's nice to hear. I'm sorry that I was late and destroyed the vibe, but it's great to be able to, not speak to somebody who is at the most famous driver who's sitting there, but a real person, a person that you and I who are watching can relate to. You are just like so many people on the iRacing service with a normal job, going about their daily business and doing racing for fun. And I think so many of us forget that that's how it should be. Racing is a fun thing to do. It's a way to unwind. It's a way to feel that sense of competition, and it's a way to have a community.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I don't want to do like a whole Lewis Hamilton speech right now or something, but I mean, if you're sitting at home thinking I want to do that, just do it. I mean, there's loads of people in the Jetta. They've got kids. They put their kids to bed and then they come and race the Jetta. It's great fun. We've got family people. If you want to give it a go, give it a go. You can fit it into your schedule. Then yeah, there's no reason not to.
Yeah, and you don't need a €10,000 rig or the very best direct drive wheel or hydraulic pedals. You can do it in whatever you need, whatever your budget allows, and you can still feel and you can still be a champion.
Yeah, definitely. Look at me here. I've just got the most basic stuff, really. I mean, I would say the best stuff to get if you want to just start out is probably the Logitech G29 or the Frostmaster T300. They're just not quite low price, and they get the job done, and they've got everything you need to be quick. You don't have to have a £10,000 rig, VR, all that stuff to be fast. It does help, obviously, and it helps with the immersion, and that's why people buy it. But yeah, you don't need it to be quick.
Jake, thank you very much for joining us. Congratulations on your championship, your double championship now. Great to speak with you and take some time out of your evening.
Yeah, you too. Thank you for having me.
It's going to be very exciting next couple of weeks on the VCO Esports channel. We got the Simi Awards coming up on the 26th of December. That's when the show will go live and we will discover who is our Simi Award winners for 2021. Up until that point, we've still got to finish the F1 Esports series, and we will try and grab the champion before Christmas for you guys. There is a film coming out, would you believe, called The Sim Racer, and we're going to be chatting to one of the stars of that. We've got races coming up in the Le Mans series and so much more across the world of esports racing. So we will try and be on top of it as much as possible, and obviously follow all of the VCO Esports social channels for the very latest news. And don't forget, if you don't want to watch my face, you can still listen to this on a podcast of your favourite player. Until next week, enjoy your sim racing. Bye-bye.